Hello everyone, welcome to another weekly wing tips video. This week we're going to talk about setting up your board and foil and balancing the two. Now I ride the AK gear and this is always really nicely set up just how I want it. Basically I just get the board, I put the foil in the central position. I feel that I don't really need to tweak the stabilizer at all. It's usually just great, just how I want it, straight out the box. The way they have it tuned is basically when the board is on the surface of the water, you stand at a certain position to get that balanced and to be most efficient. And then when the board starts foiling, you largely stay in the same position, and there's no great shifting of your weight forward or backwards to balance the foil. This is the way that I like it. You know, I think this makes a great deal of sense. But there is another way that, you know, some manufacturers or some people choose to set their boards up. And this is to have the sort of very heavy front foot pressure. I happened to swap boards with a guy that was riding with me the other day, and you know, mine was set up with even foot pressure and his was set up very much with heavy front pressure, and I couldn't ride it. Well, I could eventually, but it took a lot of changing my technique. The thing that I found with it was that you know, you'd have the board balanced on the water, you know, it would increase speed, and then all of a sudden there would be a great surge of front foot pressure that you had to kind of counterbalance with, you know, your own front foot pressure. And then once you kind of get over this hump, the foot pressure kind of evens out a bit, still, you know, more heavily front foot pressured. But it does feel like you're almost riding around the whole time with your, you know, your front foot almost stamping down. And then the second the board starts slowing down a bit again, you know, you need to increase your front foot pressure again. Now, I'm not saying that one way is right or wrong, but personally I really prefer that method where you've got very even balance between your back and front foot pressure, and also balance that with how the board is when it's on the water before it's foiling too. To me, that makes perfect sense. I think it does mean that when you're doing maneuvers, especially foot swapping, you need to be that much lighter on your feet. With the sort of heavy front foot pressure methodology, you generally swap your front foot first and then your back foot. So you weight the front of the board more heavily and then change your back foot. So I think you kind of get, you know, more powered jibes and tacks if you use that methodology. But personally, I really like to be very sort of nimble on my feet, switching feet quickly, trying to keep that balance of the board, you know, the same at all times. So why am I mentioning all of this? It's just really to make you aware that there are these two main philosophies, and you know, perhaps if you haven't got your board perfectly set up for balanced foot pressure, you know, how it should feel. As I say, that having it so that when the board's on the water, when the board's foiling, ideally your foot pressure is pretty much the same. Obviously, once the board starts to rise up, there will be a small increase in front foot pressure that you need to counteract. But then once it's foiling, you go back to, you know, that lovely balanced foot pressure that should be just continuous. And you know, if you are looking at your current setup, then this might be something that you want to actually look at, seeing if you can fix yourself either by shifting your mast in the track forward or backwards a little bit, or possibly by shimming or trimming your stabilizer. So as usual, I hope you found this video useful. Perhaps it gave you something to think about and maybe try on your next session. I think that is all for this week. Thank you everyone for watching. Catch you later. Bye.